Hello and welcome to this channel. We are VFitter University. We are the world's first practical university, meaning that we are the bridge between knowledge and wisdom. And we built that bridge using AI simulators, and we make knowledge practical using 100 simulations, for example, of hypothetical scenarios using existing variables and data sources. We are here with Joe Guzman. I would let him introduce himself and where he comes from. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Oh, absolutely. So my name is Joe Guzman. I'm originally from Houston, Texas. So growing up in the space city, kind of taste for space industry and technology in general. And went from there. Spent 30 years in the military. Graduated from the U.S. Military Academy.
Oh, wow. Respect.
And spent 26 years in active duty. Retired in 20, and started a business in space. And that's what I'm doing today.
Wow. So I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to ask only the exciting ones. So how do you see, what is the best mission of your company right now? What is the actual mission?
The mission is to make space safe, make space safe for businesses to flourish in a future economy.
Interesting. So I don't want to turn this into a debate, but personally, I'm a little bit not on space side because I believe fixing Earth is the most practical thing we can do as species. And if we just go to space and think we can find something more valuable than in Earth, in my opinion, it's similar to counting the stones and discovering all these new planets that don't have life in them. So do you see any practical value that we could really extract from space exploration or the colonization of something, for example, let's say Mars by someone like Elon Musk?
Yeah.
How do you see that? Like, it seems really not possible in, like, what do you think, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll just start with who's concerned with the environment here on the terrestrial Earth. Be a fan of space. The vantage point that space allows you to do is actually observe the entire Earth. There's no other platforms allow you to monitor the climate like space. So number one, it gives us great measures on progress or the environment that we're living in. Another thing is that one of the greatest polluters of space terrestrial Earth is actually extracting resources from Earth's crust, like fossil fuels, for example, or mining for minerals and such that we need to manufacture that make talking on a computer across country possible. So the one great thing that space has is I wouldn't say infinite resources, but there are a hell of a lot more resources in space than there are for us to actually gather here. For instance, if you could actually harness the power of the sun in orbit, you could theoretically beam energy down to the Earth and not have to pollute the atmosphere with the remnants of fossil fuels and utilize power that's generated from space. There's also microgravity environment allows the production of lots of materials that can't otherwise be produced. There's a few case points in there. Companies are building the capability to or grow human organoids in an environment. So theoretically, let's say you a new liver. Well, instead of waiting for a donor liver to come around, your DNA could actually be harvested and grow a liver that is well suited for your body. Microgravity in space, and then bring that down in your body and cure you. So that's just one example, but there's where manufacturing microgravity actually offers a lot of upside for our uses here on Earth. So it's these kind of things that really are driving us to space. I agree with you. I don't think that we should look for space as an alternative taking care of our own Earth, but in my opinion, we can actually use the capabilities that we develop for space to save our environment here on Earth,
Exactly.
Preserve it, and that's really why I'm involved. And my effort is really aimed at preserving the space environment. That these companies can go up into space and actually press all these things that improve our lives every day.
This is beautiful. Like you're saying, it's the practical use case of all of this actually matters for scientists, researchers to basically improve human as like we were talking about that. Do you think like for future, if we're using AI, can AI really like this and make things more practical? Because when you look at like universities, normal universities, they make knowledge practical with grades and quizzes. And this is really like they translate information for workforce, and the workforce sees this knowledge and they see this quiz and they don't actually care about them because what they care about is the practical experience that these people have. And university cannot fulfill that, in my opinion. Like people bring up the idea of, okay, Toronto, Harvard, they do that, but okay, if you look at it as a business, there are more successful businesses that really take a practical value in students and put them in workspaces, but others are really like miserably, right? So this like system, in our opinion, lacks test and practical knowledge and practical training. What do you think about
that? I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, I am a big fan of education. I would say that I'm also a big fan of practical experience, and I think that it's the mixture of the two that really value someone's life into work. So I think that overarching both of those, work experience and education training, the setting goals, and I think it's really about setting a goal and then setting out on a long duration journey to achieve that goal. And going to a university is kind of like that, with the goal being to graduate, and then it's this 4 or 5 year journey that you have to take and take all your classes. You have to struggle with learning the new material. Some of it you won't like, some of it you do enjoy, some of it you don't want to leave. It's the highs and the lows, the positives and the negatives, but eventually reaching that goal. When you achieve the goal, it gives you a strong sense of worth. So you can leave an educational experience and go off and do some work. And I think the first thing that you should do when you achieve your goal is like the next goal. What do you want to do next? And if that is a goal in your work environment or your job or your personal development or well-being, it doesn't matter. Actually have probably goals in all of those of your life to promote balance. And I think that if you're achieving physical goals and educational goals and work goals and family goals, and I think you're going to have a happier life, and I think you'll be more productive as well.
Definitely. That's
So
absolutely.
I guess my opinion is that you have to have goals, and those goals should be a combination of lots of different aspects of your life.
Yes. Just to quickly add to the previous topic, which was the university. So universities are also like in getting all the information from the workforce because they're only a single organization and they can't have a contract with and know all the confidential information from the world, right? So and after that, you said basically goals. So what if we want to prioritize those goals, and let's say for a human, we want to see what's the most practical thing you can learn. And personally, I came to this conclusion that that's religion, that's psychology, that's like a lot of the things that you're dealing with on a daily basis that has nothing to do with like outside world. And very interesting that like I was an atheist before. I was Muslim, I became atheist. But then after knowing software development and how basically rules and conditions create giant systems, I realized, oh wow, religion is actually like a psychology, or basically like rules that would restrict you and would set you free with those restrictions, because now you can have better mental health. Now you could have like higher power. Now you can have faith and really move forward. And that's super practical, right? So that's like useful for someone to have higher brain waves. If they, it's interesting. So it's just like I'm just saying that religion, in our case, because we're Christian, we don't have a religion, right? So we are mostly like researching Jesus Christ. We're getting to know Jesus Christ and how awesome his characteristics are, and that's how we manifest heaven based on his rules and based on his characteristics. So how do you see? I guess we're moving to different directions, but like how do you see religion? How practical do you think religion or psychology is for a human being?
I think that is all a matter of perception. So of course, different people perceive things in different ways. Where one person could be abused by a member of the church, would have an extremely negative view of religion, and it's not Jesus's fault or or that person's fault, but it's just their perception and their experiences that change their views on religion. Someone could have a very beautiful experience with religion, where hope result in them manifesting that they are deeply concerned about or wishing for. And I find it interesting because I grew up in a Catholic church, but I never really understood how the concept of forgiveness worked. And it wasn't until actually later in my life when I realized that forgiveness isn't about letting the person who has harmed you off the hook or giving them reprieve for something that they've done wrong. But forgiveness is letting ourselves off the hook and not wasting any on a negative event. Forgiveness allows us to move forward and be relieved of the burden of carrying around all that anger or fear or what have you. You know, I didn't necessarily learn that in religion. I learned that on my own. And going back to our previous topic, it was a combination of experience and reading and and education. And so I have a completely different perspective than I used to about happiness, to achieve it, how to combine gratitude with patience and forgiveness to really live a happy life.
And this is so interesting that you say this, because right now it's actually like our original topic, which is what is more practical to learn. And it's really like the space goes both sides. So one is like whole universe, but then if you dig into like into human body, that's like a whole different universe, right? And you could that and like do like think about it for us as human beings that are restricted to a human body or flesh. What is more practical to know and like forward and basically build the blocks, right? So for example, we create a chair with knowing the gravity rule, and like practical for a human being to have chair. Like
I'm gonna just interrupt you because you kind of something very profound to me. You said that we're restricted to our body, and I don't necessarily believe that.
Yes.
I believe that our consciousness, my perception of consciousness is that it's not tied to my body. Consciousness is expressed through my body, but it's not just trapped in my body. I really think that we're all connected in one way, shape, or form to a greater consciousness.
Yes.
And to assume that we're not, to me, it really does shut you down, and it limits what you're capable of.
You're absolutely right.
If you agree that our consciousness transcends our physical bodies, then you can really understand how it's possible to touch God and to be prayers to work, and for us to be benefactors of all the great things that can happen in the universe.
Yes, like absolutely right. But I was more saying like a material way, right? So we can get hurt, we can get depend on oxygen to have this body and like whole system running. So I'm just saying that like on our material existence, we can prioritize what is useful for our conscious, our material body, and like the entire like species. Like for example, for me, religion had no in any of those lists. It was okay, like I want to learn 3D, I want to learn software development, but then I realized, okay, I have to first master my system, right? Because I'm functioning through the system, and I need practical information on like how to control my emotions, how to not get like out because I'm just too sad sometimes. It's completely normal. Like you have to get a daily dose of sadness, and like how your human body. So some people don't know that it's suicidal. They do this, do that. So it's
I think having a degree of perspective on this, and again doing learning and having life experiences, give you a lot of perspective on a topic like that. Because if you were never sad, then you wouldn't know how special it is to be happy.
Exactly.
If you were never in pain, then you wouldn't know how fantastic it is to experience joy.
Exactly. That's right. So okay, or anything. For example, you can share with us any website that you want to show the audience. You can share with us like a pitch or anything that you think that this conversation would be awesome to lead to.
I can't really think about anything in particular as far as a website or pitch or anything. But personal belief system is really centered around the philosophy. And in the Stoic philosophy, there's really 4 virtues that everyone should be striving to be better on, and those are wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. And so those are the things that come in my life, and I try to keep myself honest in each one of the application of each one of those virtues, and strive to be better on that. There's also within Stoic philosophy, there's this concept of sympathia, which is that all things are connected and that we're all on the same team. And I really do believe that. There's some people who don't believe that, and that's fine. But I do. I think all things are connected. I think we're all same team, and that we should treat each other accordingly, like we're brothers and sisters. And there's also more and more things that you learn from Stoic philosophy, like to treat challenges like they're opportunities, and really try to focus on the positive aspects of things that are really challenging us in our lives, and knowing that without challenges we couldn't become better people. We wouldn't make any progress.
Exactly.
So those challenges are blessings, and in that way it helped me to understand what Jesus meant when he said to love your enemy. Because without your enemy, you can become the person that you are, and so therefore, if you're thankful that you are the way you are, you should actually be thankful to the person who challenged you to become that.
Amen.
And so
That's
all those things
awesome.
can, I didn't, those things didn't really seep into me until much later in my life, but I was able to let go of some anger and become a happier person. And I'll like to share that with people.
That was awesome testimonial. We are really we make a lot of spiritual videos. I'm not gonna say spiritual. To me, it's knowledge and like knowledge and wisdom, because it's more practical than many knowledge and wisdoms in the world. So really appreciate your testimonial. It actually came from heart. I could see it in your face. Do you have any final words for the audience? We'd be happy to hear that.
Get to one another and love each other. That's it.
Beautiful. Simple as that. Thank you so much for being here. We'll speak to you soon, man.
My pleasure.
Have a really nice day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.